backing up, and I'd say, okay, pitch up, and it wouldn't go down. Okay. Where are we at? Was that Australia again?
Also, the HST project is in the process of conducting an aliveness test on the new instrument, the STS now installed in the telescope. The aliveness test will verify that all of the connectors, the command and telemetry through the systems on the telescope, to ensure a good connection on all of those connections before the crew proceeds on with the next step, which is to change out the identically shaped FOS and install the new NICMOS science instrument, the near-infrared camera and multi-object spectrometer.
And this is the ballet of space here. You see Steve Smith being moved on the RMS, and you can see what it's like to handle a 700-pound object in a free fall condition. Doesn't matter whether it's 700 pounds or 7,000 pounds.
You're good 2 feet above the F-site.
Okay.
Keep it pitch level if you can. A little bit more down. That's level right there.
Okay, Steve, I think I'm going to start taking you aft. Okay. Mark, if you can watch the telescope. Yep. Hello. Long ways to go.
This is the old instrument, the old GHRS, which they've removed from the telescope. It is going to go into the carrier box that the new instrument came up in, and use 2 latch mechanisms to hold it down, a grounding strap, and that's where it will come back home.
And you're going to have to come aft another 6 inches at least. And you have clearance. Okay, 6 inches aft.
And Steve, you could yaw or stand a yaw about a degree or two to your left. There you go. That's a good attitude right there.
That's pretty good.
6 inches above the F-site.
Are you clearance for the telescope? Yeah, you're good. Plenty of clearance.
Okay, you're going below the F-site now.
Okay, I got it. Everything looks good. Back here. And also in the front. All right, and you're the same distance. All right, let's go down. So down, Stevie. Down.
Steve Smith now carefully installing the GHRS instrument into the protective enclosure. This should take another 5 minutes or so, and then the crew will proceed on to the next task, which is to replace the FOS, or the faint object spectrograph, with the new near infrared camera for and multi-object spectrometer.
Forward. Okay, stop.
Stop.
Yes, the C latch is caught. And you think it's which way, Mark? I think it's roll left. I think you got to roll right. Yaw. Yeah. Okay. Yaw right.
Now picking up with a television picture from the elbow camera on the shuttle's robot arm. as Steve Smith is being maneuvered up out of the payload bay with the new science instrument, the cryogenically cooled near-infrared camera and multi-object spectrometer or spectrograph.
Keep on up. You are clear.
And your attitude is squared away, Steve. You have 0 pitch in right now.
Is it good? So the MRI and the beam is not sagging. It looks good.
Okay, great.
Okay, we're 2.5 feet off. Greg, bump me up 6 inches, please.
Up 6.
Box needs to stay where it's at. That's good, Greg. Keep going.
Continuing aft. From our vantage point, Steve, you need to translate to the right 3 inches.
It looks good to me. Aperture's going in the door. Now? Bottom's going in. On the rail? You're on the rail with the V-lat. Now you're on the rail with...
You can see the placement now of Nick Moss and that angle iron, that right angle guide rail at the bottom right. Steve Smith is looking down the upper left-hand corner and aligning that rail.
Down. Up to... Okay. So, Mark, you're breaking up. All right. Pitch. Pitch down. Keep it going, Greg. Pitch down.
Continuing in.
Yaw the front to the right. Take down the box to the right. Then more. That's good. Now you're registered on the rail all the way. Keep it going.
Continuing in.
And these tasks are very predictable, not only in terms of the choreography, the motions, the kinesthesiology, but also they're predictable in terms of the time that it takes to do them in orbit versus the time to do them on an air-bearing floor or the water tank, because they have been designed almost, in fact, yes, 20 years ago. These tasks were designed to be done by spacewalking persons. A task which is totally friendly becomes predictable in its operation, predictable in the amount of time that it takes to do it. So what you're seeing before your eyes here is a task which has been designed as part of the telescope to be done during spacewalks. And that is what allows it to be predictable in both time and in its execution.
Okay, stop, Greg.
Stop.
Okay, take me down a little bit and pitch me down.
Down and pitch down.
Inner guide block is in. When you start again, you need to pitch down just a little. Okay. Let Greg get me squared away here. Like that.
Greg. Stop.
Take me right 1 foot.
Right 1 foot, and you have 8 degrees of pitch in right now.
Okay, give me the rest. Take me right 1 foot and give me the pitch. I need to go right more, please. 6 inches. Good, and as you're pitching me down, take me in slowly. Got about 1.5 foot clearance. Okay, you got it. Wait a minute, stop. Okay, stop. You're going to have to go up. You're going to have to go up if you want to go much farther. Go ahead and pitch me 5 more degrees, Greg.
Pitching
In.
coming in.
Okay, stop. Stop. Actually, take me in another 6 inches, please.
In another 6.
That's all you got, too. Okay. Okay, stop.
Stop.
Okay. How do you feel about that? Good. All right, settings done. E-ready lights are out.
Okay, you're going to be Alpha 3, clockwise 2, 10.5.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going over center. 10, 11, 12, 12 and a quarter, and 8 seated is out. And torque tripped. All right, that's
At the bottom of the picture, the cable is the cryogenic vent line that you see running to the left of your screen, that running into the newly installed near-infrared camera and multi-object spectrometer. That provides the ability of the instrument to remain cryogenically cooled to a temperature of minus 355 degrees Fahrenheit. Once all this video is obtained for the payload control team at the Space Telescope Operations Control Center, Lee and Smith will get the green light to close the aft shroud doors, one of the final tasks for the 2 spacewalkers before they reinstall the extracted faint object spectrograph back into its protective enclosure container prior to the start of cleaning up the payload bay, the spacewalk now in its final hour to hour and a half. The EVA has been ongoing for almost 5 hours now. It began with the 2 spacesuits for the 2 spacewalkers being put on battery power at 10:34 p.m. Central Time last night.
Like a little bit more of an angle from the left, if you could.
good. Take me left.
Coming left. All right, I like that a lot better. Now, if you can pitch down, continue down more. All right, hold it right there. And translate left just about an inch or 2. Okay, pitch that back down again, you drifted up. Hold that, please.
It's one on top of another on these aft shroud doors, proving to be a bit stubborn for Lee and Smith. However, one of the 2 bolts has now been secured in place and tightened down. Second bolt to go before the aft shroud doors are fully latched and closed to protect the 2 new scientific instruments housed inside: the Space Telescope Imaging Spectrograph and the near-infrared camera and multi-object spectrometer, which were installed earlier this morning, replacing the Goddard high-resolution spectrograph and the faint object spectrograph, which were removed, the GHRS in its protective enclosure container, the faint object spectrograph affixed to a temporary fixture on the side of the cargo bay awaiting to be installed in its protective enclosure container.
To 38 and try to motor it.
Again, these views from a handheld camera being held by Steve Smith, offering payload controllers a close-up view of the bolts and the latches securing the aft shroud doors on the Hubble Space Telescope.
Same shot on the bottom bolt.
At the work site where Lee and Smith have worked for the past 5.5 hours or so, coming up on almost 6 hours of work to remove the two old scientific instruments, the Goddard high-resolution spectrograph and the faint object spectrograph, and placing in their stead two brand new instruments, the Space Telescope imaging spectrograph and the near-infrared camera and multi-object spectrometer. Both instruments, the new ones, have passed their health checks. They are alive and well, and will soon undergo their verification tests on ground command from the Space Telescope Operations Control Center.
Okay. Don't go down anymore. Let me get this open.
I'd like to go up a little more. Ray, can you take me up a little more?
Placed by the near-infrared camera and multi-object spectrometer, which will offer Hubble, amongst other things, its first infrared view of distant astronomical objects.
Discovery Houston for EV8.